Hey everybody, what's up? My name is CarsonLee. I make writing and reading content here on YouTube, and today I'm going to make a little chatty video talking about writing as a hobby. It is early in the morning before work, so I'm kind of hoping to like film this quick and then get out the door, sort of. But I wanted to talk about writing as a hobby and how I want to try to do that more. I think there's a tendency in AuthorTube to make it sound and feel like you're only writing to be published. You only love your story because you're gonna sell it and you're gonna make money off of it, or you're going to get famous off of it, or you're gonna be able to write for the rest of your life because you sold the book. If you know anything about the industry, you know that that's not generally true. And I've been feeling this a lot lately as I just started my first full-time job out of college. So I am working, well, I should be working 8 hours, but I'm working like 9.5 hours every day. And it's not necessarily mentally hard work, but it is physically hard work. I am running after kiddos all day and it's not easy. So I get home and I don't want to write. And I have all of this pressure, like, is it going to be good? Is it going to stay in the final draft? Are these words, like, even worth it? And I don't really know how to get away from that. So that's why I'm making this video, because I don't want to feel that way. I want to write because I love to write, and I want to go into my stories with no expectations other than giving it my all and having a good time. So essentially, I want to take what has become a potential career, I guess, or not really a career, but like a potential professionalized avenue. I don't know how to word it, but you get what I'm saying. Taking something that I view in a very professional sense and make it a hobby again, where I just come home and I write, and if it's not good, it's not good, and if it is good, that's awesome. And then if I want to write for an hour, I write for an hour. If I want to write for 15 minutes, I only write for 15 minutes, and there's not all of this pressure around it, because at this point that pressure is keeping me from writing at all, and that's not what I want. So I don't know how to get away from that mindset, and it made me think about the difference between AuthorTube and WriteTube or CreateTube, where there are some people who write stories, who write novels, who win NaNoWriMo and have a whole bunch of books written on their computers, and they don't have any aspirations to publish. They don't necessarily want to be a published author. It's not one of their goals. It's not one of their dreams. And that's totally cool and totally valid. So how do they do it? I guess I want to know the secret. How do they just write? Because it seems like I'm incapable of that. And then my mind goes to maybe starting a new project would help that. Maybe I could just start something new and I would be able to just write it and not, you know, be so worried about if it's good, if it's not good, if I'm gonna publish it one day. But then if I just start something new, what about the projects I have? I'm getting a text message. Raging. I have a limited amount of time to film this, which is why, you know, we're rolling with what we got. So I don't want to just like stop writing the 2 books that I'm writing now, because I love those books and I love those characters, and ideally, yes, one day I would get them published. But if I didn't, the crux of it is, right, if I didn't get those books published, I don't think I would regret writing them. So I should still write them, even if they don't get published, even if they're not good enough to get published, even if they're not what the market wants right now. I should still write them. And I'm having so much trouble. I'm in such a writing slump. I wanted to do NaNoWriMo in August again, and that didn't happen. I didn't write anything in August, and now it's September, and I also haven't written anything in September. So I just don't know how to shake this off. I don't know how to get out of this rut. And I think for me, it's bringing writing back to being a hobby, to being something that I do just for fun. I was making a page in my journal. If you don't know, I do journal. I was making a page in my journal about things to do for self-care because I've been feeling a little burnt out in my job. I just come home later than I've ever come home, more tired than I've ever been, and I don't have any motivation to do anything. And so I was making a page in my journal to kind of list ways that I could do some self-care, do some like recharging and resetting when I come home. Things like doing a face mask, or listening to some upbeat music, or meditating. And one of the things that popped up on so many lists on the internet is to write. And I just immediately rejected it. Like, writing is not going to bring me any joy. It's not going to make me feel energized and recharged. And that's just a shame. I guess I'm really sad that that is my reality, that doesn't make me feel happy and excited and recharged. It drains me even further, and it shouldn't, because it's my creative passion. It's my way of expressing my creativity, and so that should always be something that is positive. And yes, if you are actively pursuing the publishing route, then sometimes you need to push yourself to write, even when you're not feeling super motivated, even when it's not making you super happy. But at this point, I'm not there yet. You know, I'm not at publishing my book right now. I don't think I'm going to be publishing for a few more years. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be querying for at least a year. So there shouldn't be any pressure on pushing myself past where I feel good about my story, because I think that that's what I did. I pushed myself and I pushed myself, and I said, hey, maybe stop, maybe it's a bad thing, and then I pushed myself past that. And now I'm here where I don't want to write my story, and I'm not interested, and it's not a good place to be. That's not where I want to be with my writing. So I'm going to try to make it a hobby again, to just, you know, write when I write and let that be it. That is kind of what I've been trying to do. If you watched one of my recent vlogs, I talked about how I'm trying to stop tracking my time so much. I was a huge fan of the Forest app. I still am. I love it. I'm obsessed with it, really and truly. But because I was obsessed with it, I was using it to track everything. Like, everything. The time I brushed my teeth, and the time that I read, the time that I read my Bible, and it wasn't good for me. It wasn't healthy, and I was becoming obsessed with that. And so I stopped using it. I tried to, you know, rehabilitate myself, and I've found a lot of success, particularly in my reading. I've been able to just read when I have time, when I have 15 minutes, when I have 10 minutes, when I have 5 minutes. And before, that was something that I couldn't do. I had to have at least a half hour, or I had to have an hour to read uninterrupted, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't read it, because it didn't fit into my app. It didn't fit into what I wanted to put into the app. And I find myself so much happier now that I'm not doing that. Now that I can just read because I love it, and because I want to read my book, because I want to know the story. And so I'm going to try to get there with my writing. And I think that maybe this is the solution for a lot of people who have burnout after maybe winning NaNoWriMo like me, or after hitting a hard part in your story, or after writing like the best part in your story and not being motivated to keep going. Maybe just make it a hobby again, have fun with it again, stop putting so much pressure on it. And I know I'm being such a hypocrite because I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I just know that this is what I want to do. So I wanted to share it with you guys and open it up and see what you guys think. Have you had the same experience that I had, where you were on a roll, you were doing really well, and then all of a sudden you just don't want to write ever? And how did you get out of that writing slump? Is writing just a hobby for you, or are you actively pursuing publishing right now? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. If you like what you saw and want to see more writing and reading content from me, please subscribe. I would love to have you guys here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.